But it's like I've also been asked before, like, oh, are you a CS major? Are you a business major? And honestly, like the answer is yes. Like, I don't know. The answer is yes. But it is still, even though like on paper, like yeah, it's like split evenly down the middle. And I do find myself like spending a lot of time in Marshall, and like sometimes like this semester, I'm actually taking like two Marshall classes and like only like one CS class and stuff. Um, but like it just like depends and like looks different depending on like the semester and what classes I'm taking. But yeah, like it is still like very much like the CSBA like degree and like the CS games very much still like a CS major, like first and
Yeah.
foremost. Like it is very much an engineering degree,
Hmm.
very like hard and very technical, and rigid and demanding and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
No, I totally get that. I
But
feel
yeah,
like my experience is a little different when you said that when you kind of, if people ask if you're a business major or a CS major, I feel like most of the people who are within USC Games, they're
hmm,
very kind of close knit in that USC Games thing. Like I could say I'm computer science games, and someone else could say that they're IMGD. And at the end of the day, we are like respectively engineering and design majors.
no,
But
yeah, for sure.
that community, even like that community within USC Games is just so tight knit, and so everyone is just looking after each other. Everyone is kind of like pushing each other to do the best, and everyone is kind of also just everyone has that space to be really, really creative, you know? Um,
Absolutely.
and I think that's just something that's really special about that. But at the same time, you're not completely boxed into not to being kind of more of like, I guess, creative, a more kind of like creative or design based major. You can still go into something more like technical and precise like engineering, but
Right.
still be in that community where you're able to kind of let that flourish.
Right, absolutely. And also like just by design like of the major itself too, like really like allows you
Yeah.
to actually like explore that and to like
Yeah.
apply like the technical stuff that you learn in CS and see
Oh
how
yeah.
it overlaps like with the more like inherently creative stuff and like to see it
Yeah.
like in real time too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like Unreal Engine is like done in C++, plus plus, and then you have Unity, which is done in C sharp. And then there's also like some other technical stuff. And really like just the USC Games program is honestly it's great. And it's just that you're not really kind of boxed into kind of you're kind of like given that like you're still structured under your major, but you're given that space to kind of like try out things like
For sure.
creatively. I know there's a bunch of people who work on AGPs. There's a bunch of people who just even less kind of a little less like structured, but they join a bunch of game jams. They have 48-hour game jams, but USC games, I think does like a couple of them. Like I think there's always like there's at least one every semester. But
Hmm.
if you kind of want to try your hand at making a game like in a really tight time frame to get a feel for it, and I mean everyone I mean you wouldn't have a game without like kind of everyone putting in their part.
For
So like you
sure.
do need the artists and you do need the designers, but you also do need the engineers behind the scenes making sure that everything is implemented correctly and that there's no bugs and stuff like that. So it's really
Absolutely.
dependent on that team effort of everyone involved just being so passionate about making these games and letting their creativity flourish to make something that is able to kind of like expand and um out kind of like from this idea.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. I that is really well put. And I really like that explanation too. And I guess just like segueing into this like final question before we wrap up here. Um even though you already like touched on like the like potential like career opportunities that you can get out of it, and how even if you don't necessarily pursue like go into the games industry yourself, you still have that like technical CS foundation that you can always like apply anywhere else, even if it's not inherently games. But like for you specifically, what do you ideally like hope to get out of the degree, or just general like what's your optimal career choice given
Mm.
this career path?
Well, I'm also currently taking a TAC minor in video game production, which is basically, if you think about it, the easiest way to put it is like project management, but specifically for the video game development cycle. I think ideally, I would like to be probably the lead engineer on a project. Uh, and I haven't yet decided. I mean, when the internship cycle kind of starts around, I'm probably going to be applying to a bunch of AAA. But honestly, I don't really have a preference as to where I end up as long as I end up liking the games I create.